So I never really thought about God being real until I was about 13. At school, I was at school and I was outside. Um, it was break or lunch, and I was looking at this girl that I really loved. I was really infatuated with. I think I loved her. I was looking at her from across the outside area, um, and um, yeah, I was tempted to call it the playground because that's what you call it in primary school. I don't know what the word for it is in secondary school, but whatever. I was looking at her and I felt like unbelievable tingling warmth and love wash over me, and it wasn't just my love towards her. It felt like God's love washing over me and inhabiting me. Um, it was incredible. It was the most profound thing I'd ever experienced up to that point, and it might still be. I don't know. I've had a lot of profound experiences, but that was special because it felt like a feeling was just zapped into me. It was just, I think looking at the girl triggered it in some way, or it was a coincidence, but I don't know. But it definitely felt divine, and I didn't have that word in my vocabulary at the time, so I wouldn't have known how to describe it. I never told anyone about it, but I did. In that moment that I was feeling it, I thought there is a God, and that what I'm feeling right now is proof of that, and this is proof that I have a soul, and that there is a God, and that love is real, and that love is a gift that I can use. This love is it's a gift that I can use in my life going forward. Not that I was a bad person or a mean person before that. I wasn't, but it really was a profound revelatory experience. I felt like I had 5 or 10 revelations at once, and it was instant. Um, and that's called a numinous experience. That experience that I had. Other people have had similar things, um, not just vague feelings of God, but that specific kind of tingly feeling of being um, washed over with love, and realizing that there might be more. That that there might really be a God. Um, and ever since then, I, I, I kind of lived as if I there was a God. I sort of believed it, but if somebody had asked me, "Do you believe in God?" I go, "Well, I don't know, I'm not sure." But I lived as if there was a God um, watching me, and I think maybe I can't remember quite what I did first because I'm not good with remembering this kind of thing. But during that same time, I'd already been, or afterwards, I I would sit in my room and I would think about what's right and wrong, and try and find the answers myself, and try and find the answers of how someone is supposed to behave in this life, and how you should treat other people, and how you should um, conduct yourself um, in life, because I felt that there was an objective answer, and when I sought the answers from within myself, they came as if, and that fits the Christian idea that the moral law and basically the moral truth is written on the heart of everyone from the moment they're born, and so they can, if I felt like I was tapping into my own, the wisdom that I didn't know I had. I didn't feel like it was my own invention. I felt like I was tapping into the source. Um, I thought of it at the time as the universe rather than God. Um, but I wasn't like New Age or anything. That's how I interpreted it at the time. But I definitely believed in a higher power and an objective moral law, an objective morality. And as I got older, I realised that most people don't believe that morality is objective, and so they just make up their own rules. Um, and obviously, that doesn't really, you know, people talk about morality as if it's objective, but then if you get down to it, they will say that it is subjective. And so you have to wonder why they're so passionate about the things that they believe when they think it's all just an illusion of the mind. And Bella, just had to move my headphones there. Um, Bella, do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? Baba. All right, hang on. Give me more ham. Eat. Yip, 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 yip. And I remember when I first learned what abortion was. I think I was watching a video. I don't know what the video was. It was something on YouTube, and abortion was mentioned, sort of casually. And I thought, abortion. I think I've heard that before, but what does it mean? So I googled it, and obviously the Wikipedia page for abortion, from memory, I think it talks around the fact that it tries to talk around the fact that it's killing a baby, but I knew from whatever it did say that it was killing a baby, and I thought, well, that's obviously wrong and evil, and I can't believe I live in a society that says this is okay and just sees this as normal. And I think it comes down to most people um, believing that morality is subjective, like I said. And so, if they don't believe that there is a true, correct morality, then they will just go along with whatever society says is good and moral or acceptable, because it doesn't occur to them to say that society is wrong, because wrong according to what standard? They don't you know they don't believe that morality is real. Um, they don't believe that morality exists. They think it's just an illusion of the mind. And, I don't know if they're right or not, but, a society is much less likely to flourish or be good or be civil when nobody actually believes that morality is objective. Whereas people in the past used to believe that a lot more, and people used to believe in God a lot more. It used to be assumed of you that you believed in God, from what I can tell. Just even if you'd never indicated that you did, everyone would just talk about God as if we're all on the same page that there is a God, or we at least sort of believe in that. Um, so yeah, I'd say that these days I'm agnostic, and I don't know if there is a God or not, because I see evidence in the other direction, evidence for maybe for evolution, and for secularism, materialism, whatever you want to call it. But I've always felt very strongly that there's a higher power. It's something I've felt in my soul my entire life, and that could just be an illusion of my mind. But I've seen a lot of evidence that's hard to dismiss. There's a great channel called God encounters with Janie Duval, and there's a lot of remarkable stories on there. And one in particular is Robert Marshall. Um, Robert Marshall's experience, 44 Hours in Heaven, um, and it's just hard to explain that he could have experienced anything while he was in the state that he was in, um, let alone, experiencing heaven and all the incredible smells and sights of heaven and all the insight that he felt he gained. Maybe I'll link that video in the description. But oh yeah, I was going to talk about nihilism. So when people don't believe in God, obviously they don't believe that anything's right or wrong, because you can't really have objective morality without God or a higher power of some kind. Not really. So it's dangerous for people to not believe in God, because not only does it give them permission to be the worst versions of themselves, and they can just justify it to themselves in their own head. People can do the most evil things imaginable, and they can find a way to justify it and tell themselves it's okay or good to do it. But that's one danger of secularism. But the other danger of secularism is that people just become depressed, and they don't want to deal with they don't want to live, because what's the point? And I've had thoughts like that sometimes, and I realised not that long ago, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to take my own life. Even if it enters my mind, I'm just not going to do it, because I'm too indecisive and I'm too scared of what might be on the other side. But I don't want to talk too much about that. I wanted to highlight how secularism is dangerous for the reasons that I just described, but it can be integrated in a way that's productive. So I do have a certain degree of faith. I do pray, and I do. I'm constantly watching things relating to God most of the time, a lot of the time. I go through phases of being interested in it and then being interested in something else, and but it's always something I'm paying attention to. But when because I can't know, at least right now, I don't know for sure at this stage of my life, at the very least, if there's a God. Although, like I say, there's a lot of strong evidence. I've had a lot of profound personal experiences. Can't remember how I even started the sentence. But when things are just pissing me off, and I think this isn't fair, it shouldn't be this way, I shouldn't have to deal with this, I shouldn't have to struggle with this particular thing that I struggle with. Instead of going to suicidal thoughts, which is just useless because I'm never going to do that, so I don't think about it anymore. I've accepted that I'm going to live a full life, and die however I die, but it's not going to be by my hand on purpose. But when those moments come, I can tell myself it's okay, because I'm going to die one day, and that was something, knowing that I'm going to die one day, particularly when thinking about it in the secular context of the consciousness ceases when you die, when your body dies. That used to scare me and sort of depress me, but it doesn't now, because regardless of if when we die we go to heaven or hell, or if we go nowhere and the consciousness ends, either way, regardless, if you can say either way when there's three options, I don't know, but we're not going to be here, so there's no need to really worry too much about anything or stress too much about anything, really, because why bother? You're here, and one day you're not going to be here, so just take it easy. And so I've integrated both faith and nihilism, or secularism, or whatever you want to call it. I would call it nihilism in terms of how I think about it. I've integrated them both so that I can believe in God when that helps me, and in moments where believing perhaps that I'm just going to be, my consciousness will die when my body dies. I can believe in that when that aids me, and it's from moment to moment. Now you might say that um, belief in God would aid me in those moments as well, and it would in theory, but it's the uncertainty. It's because I don't know for sure that there is a God. It's the uncertainty. It's the fact that I don't know for sure if there is a God in this at this point in my life. So again, maybe I'll experience something more definitive in the future, but it's because of that I don't. It's not quite strong enough to get me through moments of just being fed up. It's not strong enough, but I do know for sure, pretty much, that I'm going to die one day. So that's something I can think about and go, well, exactly, I'm going to die one day, so there's no need to get so worked up about this. Because I could die tomorrow, I could die today, I could die in 70 years, I don't know, or longer. But, yeah. So, I feel good about it. I think my agnosticism, because I would say I'm agnostic, with a leaning towards faith, um, it benefits me. I've managed to extinguish all of the conflict and the mental, the mental and spiritual conflict I feel between faith and nihilism, and managed to integrate them both so that I know what my position is, and my position is I don't know for sure if there's a God, but I have experienced many things, I've seen lots of evidence, and I definitely wouldn't dismiss it. I think, and I do pray and I live as if there is a higher power. And then I've also integrated the nihilism and the materialism. Materialism in the sense that there's nothing beyond the material world, not being focused on material things. So that's good. And I just wanted to share that in case anyone else had a similar tension between faith and secularism. You can integrate them both, or if your faith is strong enough, you can rely on that alone, and that's good. But for me, it's not solid enough. It's not certain enough for me to be able to extinguish unnecessary stress or anger, and keep it to a reasonable, sort of comfortable level, if there is any. If there is any. I'm going to leave in some of those pauses, I think, because and I'm new at this. I've made loads of videos before, but I've never made a video like this, talking to the camera about something serious. I made one video like this years ago about something silly. Everyone saying 21, when Vine was a thing, but that was like 30 seconds long, and 10 years ago, probably. 10, 15, no, not 15, 10 or 11 years ago. So I imagine hopefully I'll get better at this. I imagine I will. I presume I will. I assume and presume I will. So that's all. Thanks for watching, and God bless, if there is a God. Goodbye.